Hi, my name is Cal. Whenever I have a chance, I cruise around in a hot rod shopping cart. We decided to make a video about a particular part of our cart, the Crown Victoria front cross member. This is the first part we bought for our hot rod project because Ford packs lots of great components into one beautiful aluminum package. Our donor car was a low mileage 2006 Sheriff's Crown Victoria that had been rear-ended. My son-in-law and I do everything the hard way, so we disassembled and polished all the aluminum parts before putting everything back together. The lower control arms are aluminum for the 2003 and 2004 models before Ford switched over to stamped steel parts. The upper control arms are stamped or cast steel for all the years. The huge nuts were made by a machinist friend who also helped us bend the frame tube. The nuts cover the hardware that holds the top of the OEM coilovers. These front members are becoming popular with hot rodders as they are an easy swap for the original front components on a 48 through 66 Ford truck. These old Ford frames have spacing that works out to be the same as the front suspension modules from the 2000 and up Crown Victoria, Lincoln, and Mercury. The Crown Victoria front is a fantastic way to add modern steering, suspension, and brakes to a hot rod, but the spring rates and shock valving are dialed in to a police cruiser or a grandpa cruiser and don't always give you the ride and control you are looking for. Our solution was to switch over to RideTech air ride suspension. This is an easy bolt-in swap, but we'll show you just how easy it really is. To remove the original coilover, the best procedure would be to follow the instructions in the shop manual, but I don't have one, so we're just going to wing it. Pull the brake calipers and set the rotor and caliper aside. Remove the nut from the bottom of the ball joint on the upper control arm. Disconnect the bottom sway bar hanger. Remove the bolt from the bottom of the shock that goes through the lower control arm. With a little work, the lower control arm should now drop down so you can get to the coilover. Since the spring is captive on the shock, you don't have to worry about the spring flying off anywhere. This makes the install really easy. Our removal has a few extra steps. First, we need to get our giant nuts off the top of the shock tower. Here's our secret to covering the 3 bolts that hold the top of the shock. With all the hardware off, push the lower control arm downward to get some clearance to pull the shock assembly out. We also needed to pull the strips of LEDs off the top of the shock. We light this whole thing up with almost 1,000 LEDs for parades and car shows. I visited the RideTech facility in Jasper, Indiana, and they let me know what components would work best on our unusual hot rod. A typical 2003 to 11 Crown Victoria would use the 1000 series double convoluted shockwaves from RideTech. Our cart is a little lighter than a typical F100 or actual Crown Victoria, so RideTech recommended the 104 series shockwaves. The Crown Victoria shockwaves from RideTech are great because they include everything you need to swap the stock coilovers. And here's one of the trick parts they include. This little guy lets you mount the top of the shockwave directly to the stock shock mounts. The clearance to get the bolt past the shock tower casting and through the mount is a little tight, so you may want to mount the shockwave to the mounting plate before you bolt up the plate to the tower. I mounted the plate first, so next I just add the provided spacer bushings to the top of the shockwaves and bolt them to the upper mount. The wider spacers pop in the lower bushings of the shocks, and the hole adapters snap into the lower control arms. And as simple as that, you have air ride on the front. We'll be adding videos for the rest of the system install in a few weeks. The only glitch we had with installing the shockwaves on the Crown Victoria suspension was a clearance issue with the sway bar hanger hardware. The hex end of the lower joint of the hanger is a little too close to the shockwave. Our solution was to trim the hex portion of the mounting stud. So we can still hold the stud while torquing the nut, we put a washer on the other side of the sway bar so we could get a wrench on that side of the spindle. The monotube HQ shocks let us adjust the rebound valving to dial in the damping we want, and the air adjustable shockwaves let us drop the cart down for car shows or bring it up a bit to keep our bumper height legal. RideTech also makes this system with preset damping, the RQ, and the triple adjustable valving in the TQ is for dialing in your track car. We prefer to keep the shopper chopper upright, so we stay away from the track. But the RideTech parts let us adjust the stance and the ride quality to make our crazy creation the fastest, most well-planted grocery cart in the world. The front shockwaves are the first stage of our upgrades. We'll post videos of the air ride install for the rear along with the compressor, air tank, and control system soon. We'll also be upgrading to a dual Optima yellow top battery system to power our compressors and add some reserve amps to our insane JL Audio Marine sound system. Check back soon, subscribe, find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, we're all over the place. Thanks.